River Lady here, and I am going to make my own hydrangea pruning video. I've watched a few on YouTube, and I felt that maybe a layperson like myself might need just a simple explanation of how to prune hydrangea bushes. So here we go. I'm not a horticulturalist. I don't pretend to be one. I just happen to love hydrangea bushes. I love the colors of them. I love the beauty of them. They're just so cool. And right now it is April. I don't know the date. Maybe the 7th, 8th, 9th? Could be the 10th. It's still been chilly. We've just gotten rid of the snow. I'm in Massachusetts, and I've uncovered some of my hydrangea bushes, and I want to show you how to prune them. This baby is an everlasting hydrangea. Blue label shrubs, and the hydrangea is garnet. I can zoom in there. When you're pruning back your hydrangea, if you do it in the spring like I do, you have to be mindful of where the new growth is coming from. This hydrangea grows two ways. It grows by setting buds on the old wood. There's the new bud right there. It also grows from the base of the plant. You can see the new growth coming out of the dirt right there. And if I come around to this side, you can see it in there as well. So that's new growth coming from the dirt, and it also has growth coming from the old wood. So let's go over and look at another hydrangea that I cut back nice and tight. This hydrangea I cut back about 3 weeks ago when I first uncovered it. I honestly thought foolishly that the warm weather was upon us, and then the day after I uncovered it and cut it back, we got a snowstorm, which isn't bad. The snow insulates the plant. It would have been terrible for the plant if there had been a hard frost. So this hydrangea is a mophead, and its name is Nobilis. Beautiful white flowers with just a touch of pink in the center. It's an everlasting, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, growth from the old and the new. You can see lots of fronds coming up from the earth. This is growth from down below the plant. This plant also has growth on the old wood. You can see that one right there. And these buds have gotten, there's another one right there. These buds have gotten bigger. This growth from the old wood has gotten bigger from when I trimmed it back. And you can see how tight I trimmed this plant. I trimmed the stems about 1 inch above the new growth. When you're trimming hydrangea, you have to be mindful of what's going on the old stems. Look carefully. If you see a tiny bit of green, don't trim below that green. Trim above it. Trim about 1 inch above the new growth. And you have to be very careful. I wish I could zoom in on that and you could see the tiny little green eyes peeking out. All right, moving on. This one I uncovered yesterday. I left trimming it because I wanted to show you how to prune it back. So if we get rid of all the sticks and leaves, we see that we have new growth coming from the dirt. There, I think you can see it now. But we also have new growth coming from the old wood. And there's some right there. So the way I trim this bush back is I'm going to go up to where the new growth is. Now, there's new growth, but it just doesn't look like it's doing well in the cold weather. So I'm not going to trim all the way back towards that. I'm going to start right here where the wood is kind of blotchy. Hopefully that'll give this stem some strength because it doesn't have to send any materials up to the tip of the stem. It can now focus on the bottom. Same for this one. The new growth is down here. It's right under there. So I'm going to actually, you can see how it's, maybe you can see how it's brown here, and then there's green starting, so I'm going to trim right above that. Sorry, plant. My shears need to be sharpened. Be very careful when you trim. Look for the little buds. There's a little bud, so I'm going to go right above it, keeping about a good 3 inches. There's another bud. And that's how you would trim a plant like this. Look for the new buds and trim above them. Typically I trim about 1 inch when the buds are thicker, but for this plant, it's a new plant, leave a little more stem. I can always trim them back as the warm weather approaches. Always look for new growth on the old wood. Look for those tiny, 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 tiny little eyes of green peeking out. If you see that, trim above them, but don't trim too close to them. Leave about 2 to 3 inches until the plant is really rocking with its growth. Look in the dirt at the base of the plant, see if you see any green peeking out. Don't give up on your plants. Like this hydrangea, I'm not giving up, and you'll see in future videos and photos that this hydrangea will be beautiful this summer. I'm not giving up on you, baby. So that's it. It's not hard to trim hydrangea. Just be mindful of where you're pruning and always look for the bright, beautiful green color that indicates the plant has woken up. Blessed be and happy pruning.